What's going on, creators? It's your boy Big Man SF415 of Silent Tunes Production here, bringing you a Premiere Pro tutorial about the basics of getting started in Premiere Pro. Let's jump right into it. So we're going to launch Premiere Pro. When Premiere Pro opens, it's going to give you a couple options to work with. For now, we're going to open up a new project. We're going to call this project Premiere Pro Basics. After we name the project, we're going to figure out where we want to save the project. Save it to the desktop. I'm going to create a new folder so I know where all my files are. It's a good idea to create a new folder every time you start a new project so you can put all your files in there so you know where everything is. So I've created that new folder. I've named it. And when you open up a new project, there are a couple tabs that you can go through to customize your project. Right here we have the General tab where you can choose the video display format, the audio display format, your scratch disk where you can choose where all of your files are being stored to. Right now everything's the same as project, so it's the same as the project folder. And then you have the ingest setting tabs. With the ingest tab you can choose to create proxies upon import of all your files. This is a good thing to use when you're working with 4K files since they're so big. It lets them run a little smoother. So I'm going to uncheck that right now, go back and create my project. So once you open up, you're looking at a couple panels here. You have a project panel where all your media, where you'll be pulling from. You have a source panel where you preview the video before you put it on the timeline. And then you have a program panel where this is the main timeline. This is what you'll be seeing, your final bounce. So source monitor, a preview, program, your final bounce. The timeline is where you'll add everything you need. Project panel is where you'll pull all your imported media to start. So in order to start a project, you need to create a sequence. So I'm going to go down here to new sequence. I'm going to create a sequence. So here I go to DSLR, digital SLR at 1080, and I'm going to create a sequence. You can also create a sequence that's 4K, which I recommend. Pro tip here, what you can do, you can import your 1080 clips into a 4K sequence to make it look better upon export. So right here, we created a 4K sequence. Sequence settings, we're going to change the frame size to 3840 over 1920. And now you have a 2:1 ratio. With this 2:1 ratio, it eliminates you having to put the black bars that are normally added at the top and bottom of the screen. So now we're going to import a 1080 file. Keep existing settings. As you can see, the video is much smaller than the actual frame size. So what you want to do, you want to come in here, double click, go to effects controls, and scale your 1080 file to 200%. So now you have a 10K file on a 4K timeline. Same deal, new sequence. And the reason why I recommend it is because it looks better upon export. I forgot to name it, so I'm going to rename it right here. So now I got my sequence. Go up here to sequence settings, 1920 by 1080. Everything else is good. Don't need to worry about none of the other stuff for now. That's okay. So now we need to import video, audio, pictures, whatever we need to add to the timeline. So now I'm going to make sure I'm in the editing workspace layout. There's a couple ways to import files in Premiere Pro. One way is you can double click in the project panel. You can right click, import in the project panel, or you can go file, import. So let's import our files. I made a folder previously on the desktop, a couple clips that I shot last weekend. So I'm double clicking. The preview is showing up in the source panel. So I'm going to come in here. I'm just making a couple quick cuts to put something together for you. So it's asking me if I want to keep existing settings. I'm going to say yes. And the reason it's asking because sometimes you have different file formats, different frame sizes, frame rates when you import. So I have a video in the source panel that I'm going to use to edit from. I'm going to do this by setting endpoints and outpoints to choose a section of the video that I would like to work with. Press I for endpoint and O for outpoint. So I'm going to let the video roll. Press the endpoint, press the outpoint. So now that I have an endpoint and outpoint, I have another couple options. I can import just the video, I can import just the audio, or I can import both by dragging the video. And as you can hear, the audio isn't that great. So we're gonna add some music. So I'm gonna go back here, right click, import, choose a song. Let's drag this to the timeline. Move it to the front. Now we're going to add a picture. So I'm going to go File, Import. Let's bring a couple pictures in. One thing good about Premiere Pro is it works with a lot of different formats, so you can bring in Photoshop files, JPEGs, PNG, you name it. So I'm just going to add a picture to the end of this video, and as you can see, the picture is not the full size of the frame that I'm working with, so I can right click, scale to frame size. So I'm going to add another picture, and again you can just drag and drop straight from the project panel. Shorten this up a little bit. Once again, I'm going to scale this. Let's check out the entire sequence we just created. Hope you enjoyed this Premiere Pro Basics tutorial. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you for checking me out. See you on the next video.